In this demonstration, we'll examine the outputs that we created when we published using Oracle UPK. I'm going to walk through the outputs in the order of the typical project lifecycle. So let's begin by taking a look at the system process document. When we first open this document, you'll notice that we see the metadata regarding the authorship of this document. We can see who the author was, when the changes were last made, what's the revision of the document, are there any embedded job roles, and what's the release status of the document. As we roll down, if there were a business trigger for this process, we would see it here, and you'll notice that the Visio flow diagram that we had embedded in our concept pane earlier is present in this document. Any required fields or output results would show up here. This is just a Word document. It is possible to create this output as a PDF as well. While you can go in and directly edit this Word document, the best practice is to make all edits in the source UPK recording. Now, as we scroll down the screen, you'll notice that we have our introductory text, we have our first screen image, followed by the steps that took place on this screen. UPK has even gone so far as to embed visual cues such as buttons and fields within this document. As we scroll down a little further, we see our next screen image, followed by the actions for that screen, and then our last screen, followed by its steps. Now, changing gears, let's examine the Excel spreadsheet we created. Now, this spreadsheet serves as a test script. You'll notice as we begin walking down column D, we can see each of the instructions laid out in order. This can be leveraged in any automated testing suite that will allow for the import of an Excel file or a CSV. Now let's take a look at the simulations we created. I'm going to go into the player package folder and we'll launch the play.exe file. Now, play.exe allows you to create auto-running CDs and DVDs if you need to leverage those with end users that are routinely disconnected from the network. However, this simulation player is actually dynamic HTML and JavaScript. It requires no plugins to play back the simulations, so it's extremely easy to deploy by simply dropping it on any available web server. There are several modes of playback for the simulations. The first one is See It. In the See It mode, it runs kind of like a movie. My mouse is over here out of the way. The simulation runs on its own. This is a great way to introduce concepts to end users. If, for example, you have a new release of a product coming out, it looks similar, but the interface is a little bit different than the previous release. Great thing to do to kind of at least give your end users a little bit of time to familiarize themselves before you roll out the new release. The next mode is called Try It. In the Try It mode, it really takes things up a notch because this time I'm actually expected to go through and complete these actions myself. If I make a mistake, the system is actually going to warn me and ask me to attempt it again because it wants me to complete the operation in the prescribed manner. The third mode is called Know It. Know It is an assessment mode to allow you to gather information about end user proficiency. You can set the pass-fail threshold to whatever you like in the UPK developer. You'll notice that I'm not being prompted with very much assistance. In fact, pretty much the only assistance that it's going to give me is sample values that I might use as I'm walking through the process. Now let's say I make a mistake. Well, the first time, the system is just going to warn me so that I can try again. But if I make a second mistake, it's going to warn me and actually tell me what to do. So I've officially missed this question. If I make a third mistake, the system continues to remediate me with a little more forceful warning. It tells me what to do, and it shows me where to do it. Now, if somehow I still make another mistake, then the final level of remediation is stand aside, let me show you how to do this. So at this point, I've completed my simulation. I needed an 85 to pass this, but I only ended up with a 75, so I failed. If I click Print Results, we'll actually see a certificate of completion. One of the great things about UPK is that it includes a usage tracking module. Usage tracking can be used to run online reports regarding which of your end users have accessed the online materials. How long have they spent in each of the materials? If they took the Know It assessment, how did they do? All of that information can be tracked in the background, and administrators can run those reports.